With a woman who's always good for a few fireworks, Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee. Good to see you, Congresswoman.
You too.
I want your reaction to this. The president's making a deal with the likes of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. We're not going to have to worry about a shutdown, not for 3 months. What do you think?
I think the fireworks are coming in December. If this is what they end up doing, I've got to tell you, Trish, December 15th, we're talking about heading into another of these cliffs as we try to get away for the Christmas holidays. And we had been hopeful that the debt ceiling would be a separate debate. We have a responsibility to children, to grandchildren, to taxpayers, to make certain that we begin to bend that spending curve and that we begin to look at how we pay down this debt. We're at $20 trillion in debt. And instead of having that debate and instituting some badly needed reforms, we're going to put Harvey relief, which should be dealt with by itself, because no one can argue about the needs that are there. They are monumental. We know Irma is heading through the Virgin Islands right now as we speak. There is going to be need there. They've already declared the state of emergency in Puerto Rico. We know there's need there. So Trish,
why try and hold things up over, I'm with you on this one, because I agree, people need help, and we should recognize that for what it's worth, while simultaneously trying to do something about these outrageous levels of debt this country's struggling with, and there's a lot on the spending side we should be doing to cut. But keeping them separate would be a nice thing right now, because they really are entirely two separate issues. Why do you think the Democrats so badly wanted to put them together?
I do not know, and we took the vote in the House to pass through. We've already done that today. We have voted the relief for Harvey, which should be done, and we voted it as a standalone bill. But to come in and to couple this with debt ceiling, with CR, with all these other things, I think does a disservice to the American taxpayer who is footing the bill for this. Because my constituents say, tell me what is needed in Texas, and let's give them every penny that they need, and let's hold FEMA accountable for acting in a timely manner to meet that need.
I think people, look, let's not forget, we've had a lot of political bickering, and there'll probably be plenty more of it to come, but, Representative, we are a very giving country, and I think we have seen on full display just how willing Americans are to do what's needed for Texas and to do what's needed for our neighbors. I want your reaction to this. I mean, why would President Trump make this deal with the Democrats then, knowing that he's just going to have to confront this yet again come December?
I don't know the answer to that. I will say I think it's disappointing. I was hopeful we could have a debt ceiling debate and put those needed reforms in place. Begin some of that entitlement spending reform, that mandatory side of the budget that is so difficult to get our hands on, and implement some of those needed changes and accountabilities. And we were very hopeful that this would be a year that we could put those reforms in place, and are disappointed with the news that we've all just heard.
We're seeing Mitch McConnell right now speaking to reporters, and he said basically he's going to support this. And we heard a sort of rather neutral tone from him as he came out. Well, he's always got a little bit of a neutral tone, right? But he wasn't harsh on this. Certainly not as harsh as you are, Representative. Basically saying, okay, this is our lot. We'll deal with it. Does this make the Republicans, the party at all, look weak, in that the Democrats can perhaps scoot around? I understand where the president's coming from, right? He doesn't want to shut down the government. He wants to get aid to people as fast as he possibly can.
That's right.
But are you running a risk here now of the party itself losing more power?
One of the things we hear most from our constituents is their frustration that we are not getting things done in D.C., whether it is health care or tax reform or infrastructure. Certainly people were very concerned about how we were going to handle the need for emergency relief and dealing with FEMA. I think they will be disappointed that there's going to be the short-term fix, and the debt ceiling issue will be
We'll be
kicked down
talking
the
about
road
it
a little
We'll
bit.
be talking about it some more, but I'll
Yes,
tell you,
we
if you can
will.
get tax reform done, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm anxious to hear more about this deal because Democrats could be on board for corporate tax reform. Maybe this was a
We would
little bit
hope
of an
so.
olive branch for them. We shall see. Representative Blackburn, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Always a pleasure, absolutely. Thank you.